Hail and well met. Welcome to the pre-show hangout. We're the Dungeon Scrawlers. We were talking about old school D&D stuff. We will continue talking about old school D&D stuff unless Erin stops us, which I don't think she will. So
I gotta finish my dinner. You guys can be like blah blah Thaco all you want.
Okay. So the first thing is that Erin pronounces it Thaco, which is hilarious to me.
That's interesting. Is there a standardized pronunciation? Because my friend definitely says Thaco. My friend who is also a D&D geezer says Thaco.
I think a lot of people say Thaco. That's what I hear most of the time. But
apparently there's a regional difference. East Coast, West Coast, maybe?
That might be.
Shouldn't it be like Thaco because it's against?
Maybe it's more like wacko. Like anyway.
I guess unless you say against, it could be Thaco. Or...
There's the difference. How do you pronounce against that?
I like how you're trying to apply the laws of grammar to something that Gary Gygax came up with because he thought it sounded clever. Yeah.
They really just needed to add a W in there because then it would be thwacko, and that would make a lot more sense for what it is. But
Wacko.
Thwacko.
when you thwack someone, do you hit them? I don't know.
2-hit wascally armor class 0.
That's right.
You know, it's funny. As an American who grew up playing D&D, I didn't necessarily think about how D&D was received overseas in other countries, particularly like there's this whole tradition of British D&D players who have their own kind of distinct way of doing it. And I want to know how they pronounced it. That's what I want to know. Anyway, the point that I was driving toward.
Question. I don't know. I'm like, we have a bunch of Australians on our Discord. They can tell us the Australian pronunciation, which could be related or could be completely different.
Are any of them old enough to have played second edition? Oh, okay. Let's not go there. Anyway,
you don't want to feel the clammy hand of death on your ankle. It's not fun.
Sure. I think so.
I am curious about what, because that question has sort of two parts. Like, did TSR produce official translations? And then did people do it on their own? Because I gotta tell you, I get like once or twice a year, someone from like Russia will be like, can I translate, or Turkey, can I translate Brimstone Angels? I'm like, that is not something I get to say because it's not mine. But
right.
If you want to do that for your friends, that's also not my business. Like, if you can't read it in Russian and Hasbro's not selling Russian translation rights, if you can't read it unless it's in Russian and Hasbro doesn't sell Russian translation rights, then
that we know of.
No, there is at least a Finnish version of The Adversary. Yes, and when I go in, that's the only one I have because our friend Gabrielle went to Finland and saw it and bought it for me and brought it back.
It's pretty great.
Like Vastustaja, I think. I don't pronounce Finnish. And all I know looking at it is that there's a piece of like wordplay in the first chapter, sort of. There's like an imp is shouting something and Frida is disoriented and interpreting it as a crow. And the translator just translated the Finnish sound that a crow makes and then the word for hear. So they're completely disconnected because it didn't make sense. It's a joke that doesn't make sense in Finnish. That was the extent of my knowledge of what happens in the Finnish version of The Adversary. That and a lot of the umlauts.
So could you at least like confirm if Rita was still for Rita, Havilar was still Havilar?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they didn't change the names. If they changed any names, they were minor characters further in the book where I mean, because I assume there are times in a translation when you're like, actually, this fantasy name is very rude in our language. And that's fair game. But Frida, Havilar, Bryn, Dahl, Lorcan, those are all intact.
I legit asked, so when Fin Fantasy got picked up by Titan UK,
Mhm.
I legit asked the editor there, like, should I go with Randall instead of Randy? Because definitely in the UK,
Mm.
Randy means something specific. So
Did they?
then they
put
said,
it-
no, it should be fine. Just go with it. Maybe they thought
They're like,
besides it's
an
humor. So
American."
yeah.
Depends
thanks, Umbra.
how sexy those books are received over in Britain, I suppose.
That's right. Now, do I make you Randy means, am I making you laugh in Britain now? Officially, just because of me. No, I'm just
Nice.
Exactly.
I'm kidding.
Put your
Randy
stamp
has
on the
changed the
language.
entire language. Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, language is
gonna-
descriptive, not prescriptive.
Gonna run inside with this dish and grab a drink, and I will bring back my Finnish adversary to share, and we can see
Nice.
if we can pronounce
Ooh.
what the title is, because I don't think I can.
I saw a cover of an Eastern European language translated Ghostwalker, which I don't have the actual book of. I don't know if it actually exists. But I remember what it was called, and it was called Stellum Harkos, which I thought was really cool.
Stellum Harkos.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly.
That sounds like a cool character name. Yeah.
I
Just on
am
its own.
at some point going to play a character named that, and it's going to be a great inside joke just for me and the 18 people watching the Hangout.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if it ever got translated into like an Asian language, because I know that, for example, in Chinese, they like to break down the phonetics and then translate it into the actual Chinese words that has like some sort of association or descriptor, tied to the base thing. So, for example, like Coca-Cola is like 可口可乐, which is like roughly translated to like happy, delicious, happy, appetite stimulating. So it's saying like Coca-Cola is basically, yeah, like the name itself means that it's like delicious and happy.
Yeah.
Nice.
When it had its original ingredients, it definitely was stimulating. That's appropriate.
Well,
Mm.
because I've always heard, but I don't know if it's sort of an urban legend, because I know the Chevy Nova was an urban legend, but that
A great urban legend.
it is a great urban
Nova?
legend.
It's an urban legend?
Yeah, but that never actually happened.
Oh, okay.
Well, because it's a different emphasis and accent, and
Yeah.
even in English that's important, because they're like, if
Nova.
you went to the furniture store and they had the notable dining set, like you wouldn't not buy that because it's no table. Like it's one word, and also the emphasis and accent is totally different. So I was like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, that makes sense. But the Nova makes a fun story. But anyway, what I had heard is that there was a original version that they didn't go with, that for Coca-Cola, that ended up being like bite the wax tadpole or something.
What?
Now I believe the Bic pen story, I haven't heard that that's been disproven. That sounds like it actually would be correct, because the old Bic slogan was "won't leak in your pocket and embarrass you," and in Spanish, embarazar is to impregnate.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Oh God. Well, that would be a nasty surprise from your pen.
yep,
I watched a
much
documentary.
giggling in high school Spanish.
Oh, hello,
What
Aaron.
is that?
Yeah, look at
I-
that.
Nice.
I don't.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think Gabrielle knows, but
I was just thinking too that I just realized, I was just thinking, I'm like, wait, no, Thaco is not to bring it back, but it's armor class. It's like against armor class. I always throw the extra A in there, but it's actually just armor. So it would be Thaco. Just to reaffirm.
Oh,
It should be Thaco, right? To hit armor class.
Yeah, this seems like I'm not sure how we could put this into a poll, because I'm not sure how you would write out this pronunciation.
maybe Thaco,
Yes.
Thaco.
Thaco
Thaco.
rhymes with Waco. Thaco
Yes.
rhymes with Wacko, which is
Uh-huh.
only going to help if you put the K in.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, how do we?
I think
Unless we
Taco
go full
rhymes with
IPA,
taco.
which I don't think we have the symbols for.
Well,
Yeah.
I think our
Oh,
moderator
yeah.
Allie is brilliant, and she'll figure out a way to do it.
Which of
Fair
these words
point.
does Thaco rhyme with? And then
There you
Oh,
go.
Right,
nice.
right.
Very
There
nice.
we go.
Yes,
What was
yes.
what's the other
Should
one?
it be? Yeah.
Ucko? Like stucco?
stucco,
Waco.
wacko,
Or wacko.
Waco.
I like that.
Taco, Akko too, like taco.
Taco. There we go.
Taco.
And taco.
I enjoy
Taco like taco.
when they started making audiobooks of Forgotten Realms novels. Eric, I don't know if you had this experience. They like Audible bought the license for everything. And WotC basically said, hang on, guys, we need to get you pronunciation lists. And Audible said, yeah, time is money. And sort of just started recording things. So
Ah,
so narrators were contacting authors and be like, how do you pronounce all these things? And some of which were like, how do you pronounce the goddess of magic? Some people say Mistra, some people say Mistra. And WotC was like, we would like this standardized, but everybody's talking to everybody. And then some people, like me, did not get contacted, and their narrator posted on Twitter. This, by the way, is not the wonderful Dina Perlman, who eventually narrated all the Brimstone Angels novels. Shout out to Dina. But the first narrator posted on Twitter that she loved getting these fantasy assignments because then she could invent cool pronunciations like it's Star Trek. So this is yes. So it came out. I listened to the sample, and they pronounced Rita's name Farida.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, oh no. I was like, what is this? And that, I think, was the one that they went back and said, listen, you messed this up, stop, and you're doing this one over. And they asked me, how do you pronounce Frida's name? And I was like, it rhymes with fajita. Assuming you know how to pronounce fajita.
I do remember when Farida first appeared in like written form, and I kept running into people who pronounced her name Faraday, which
People
is
still
very
do.
strange.
I
Some
think-
people
I was
still
gonna say,
do.
Doug,
That's a
Doug
legit.
insists I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah. No, I mean I think that's a fair one.
man,
DEA.
Doug is disputing you right now.
Oh
in
no,
chat.
yeah, I think Doug will insist to the grave that I don't know how to pronounce her name, but with love.
Actually, I did that to one of my friends, her Moo role-playing character. You see it in text. We hardly ever talked. I found out that she was pronouncing it wrong. Her own character. I knew how she should pronounce it.
Oh.
So now, like, when I do meet her in person, I just don't like mention that character.
One of the cool things one of my favorite things about the publishing process, like the edits, and you get back from the copy editors and everything, is that, and I don't know if they do this for the Forgotten Realms novels also, but like they would send you back basically a listing of all of the characters that were in the book, and who they were, and possibly how to pronounce them in some cases, but mostly it was just they give you basically like all of the non-standard words and terms that I used in my book. They put a little sort of they created a glossary basically for me that they sent back with the copy edits. Do they do that
Style
for
sheet.
like Forgotten Realms?
Speaking as
some
a
of-
professional, that was a style sheet.
A style sheet, yes.
Yeah,
That was
the
I
good
loved
ones.
that because then I was like, oh, you did my job for me. I'm like, I was gonna go and create something like this, and you did it for me. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I definitely had copy editors do that when I was an editor, and it's nice, especially when you run into things where it's like, well, okay, you invented this term and you spelled it 3 different ways, which is the right one, right?
That's
like
what
those kind of
triggers.
tells out, right?
Yes.
Generally, at work, we don't always do specialized style sheets. And I mean, we're technical reports, but when it's triggered, it's usually because somebody has it 2 ways.
Yeah.
I also appreciated that like my copy editor was like a serious geek. Also, I mean, working for Tor or whatever, so probably legit sci-fi fantasy type.
Mhm.
So I mean, they would catch the occasional, like, not that I had many, but like the occasional where I would make a Star Trek reference or something, and they would be like, I think that was actually maybe this other episode, or they would like catch like little, or I think they spelled it this way, or they actually knew enough about things to catch the geek references and pop cultural jokes and stuff like that. Whereas I think maybe if you went with like a more literary like publisher or something, they might not
You're on your own for those.
Yeah, they just wouldn't catch them, right? They'd look for misspellings and stuff, but they might not help you out with the geek references.
Well, let's see how the poll did.
It's still going, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, Wacko's in the lead.
Who's in the
It's
lead?
strongly
is
in
correct.
the lead.
I don't know what to tell my
Yes.
friend.
Good.
It's all is right with the world.
Yeah.
I say the made up word the same way as most people.
Well, I mean, as long as we don't start asking people to make an RSW saving throw, we should be good.
Oh, man.
RSW?
I don't even know
Rod
what
staff
that
wand.
Oh,
means. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to know what it means. I think.
Well, that's one of the ones you can't pronounce, like XKCD. Like you
Mhm.
can't.
okay. Sidebar
Rissla.
related to that.
Rissla
You
save.
familiar with the vacation rental by owner, vrbo.com?
Mm.
Verbo. Why?
Yeah, now they're suddenly calling themselves Verbo, and I'm so angry.
Oh, I hated it
That
when
doesn't need to happen.
I know I hated it when the Sci-Fi Channel changed to Siffy. That's
Oh,
like
God,
what?
yeah.
What? You want to be
God.
the syphilis channel? I don't understand. What is? Who is the marketing genius behind this? Like,
It's funny at work. Nobody brings up the whole like acronyms versus initialisms thing. Like nobody cares. But occasionally, people do have opinions about abbreviations versus acronyms. Because a lot of times agency asks for an acronyms and abbreviations list. And they're like, well, but they're all different kinds of abbreviations, so we should just say abbreviations. And I'm just like, I mean, there are certain things that I've come to care about as a copy editor, but like that is not one of them. Not my hill for dying.
Those are important to identify.
I mean, I have some very, very dumb hills to die on.
You know what? If that's where your heart is, that's where your heart is.
Yeah.
I
No,
won't
applaud that.
identify
I
it on
applaud
like
that.
a public stream because the authors that I've had these discussions with, I wouldn't want them to like feel bad, but you're wrong.
Hey, you know, they're not here right now. This is not their stream. You can say whatever you want. This is your chance.
that's right.
Well, here I am. I'm planning to do a little like marketing at work because for next week, hey, next week I'm doing a real archaeology one-shot DM'd thing.
Yeah.
So I will be like giving them the stream and like the YouTube channel and stuff. So I gotta be on my best behavior from here on out, I'm thinking.
Ooh. Do you think that we're gonna have like a bunch of professional archaeologists watching your archaeology one shot and like dropping some
Well-
facts in chat or something? Fact checking.
That's what I hope. I don't know. Like, there's one former coworker who is archaeology and D&D, and I'm hoping that she can log on.
Ooh.
But she's been having a heck of a time with pregnancy nausea. So I'm like,
Well, she can watch the
whatever you
video
can
in
manage to
retrospect,
do,
too.
like I'm happy to.
Yeah, tag some of your archaeologist buddies and say D&D archaeologist reacts, and then there's like a video of them watching our stream and going,
There we go.
and oh yeah, that makes sense. And oh man, she's really trying really hard here, but they are just not getting it.
Yeah. My dream would be to make an archaeologist cry. I mean, it's not you, Rhiannon. It's me.
Like
It's going to
another
be,
archaeologist.
It'll be Stomp.
Another archaeologist.
Yeah, yeah.
Like an NPC archaeologist, preferably.
Because like I have no clue what I'm doing around a dig, but I think it's more fun that way.
Absolutely.
Is it specifically an archaeologist or just in general? Like, do you have a specific dream to make an archaeologist cry, or is it like at any given slightly obscure professional? Or
You know, I don't have an official list of professions that I'd like to make cry.
if we find you a geologist to make cry, would that be as satisfying, or would you feel like it just was missing something?
You know, maybe I should make this list, and archaeologists and geologists will both be on it. I feel like it'll be like an achievement, you know, like how many different experts can I like horrify with my D&D play?
The rule of archaeology is finders keepers, right? That's just basically archaeology.
I'm here if you want to make a linguist cry. That is actually, I was going to say, one of the silliness story behind this is that I think Gabrielle was learning Finnish for a book she was writing, and I was doodling around with Finnish for a book I was writing, and I think in the conversation she thought I was learning Finnish. I'm like, no, I'm just kind of messing around with like verb endings and stuff because I am just a linguistic magpie. I love to learn a little bit about all the languages and not actually become fluent in anything. So I don't know what this says, but it was a thoughtful gift anyway. See, also my essential Nahuatl book up there that I have not actually made my way through, but it's a really interesting language.
My sister is a physicist, though she's not a
I
crier.
can make her go. Oh, so it's a challenge.
It is a challenge. If you could actually get her on, I don't know if she would ever come on camera.
Does it have to be on camera? Can we just go up to our house?
Oh,
This is the question. Like, does it have to happen in the context of D&D, and does it have to be a televised D&D game?
I think we probably would have to put sort of like bounding on it.
I mean, it's Yagang's dream. I'm just asking
That's
about
true.
what his parameters are for satisfaction.
I mean, I will figure out how to live stream this, and then we'll just show up at your sister's house one day. When it's safe, of course.
Her partner watches the stream, but I think he's still back in season 1, so it'll be like a year before he reaches this point.
It's also not personal, and I'm not actually advocating that we should drive down to Rhiannon's sister's house and make her cry. I'm just curious if that's a situation. I'm testing all the boundaries. Like,
Yeah,
what are the
parameters.
limits of this, right?
No limits. Let's go.
No limits.
In fact, viewers, if you're an expert at anything and I've made you cry in the past, let me know so I could add you to the list and check it off.
Oh, hey, have we yet enabled the drink meter?
No, I told you I was too lazy to program it.
Right. Okay.
One
don't
day.
have
That's a
anywhere
feature
my
that I want to
device.
add in so that our viewers can type in like !drink anytime Eric takes a drink, and then it will have a rolling count of how many drinks that he's had in any given session. Then we could track it and see when we stress him out the
Are you,
most.
I was gonna say, are you worried about Eric? Is that what this is? Is this like a really complicated intervention?
No, I just think it's for my own amusement, really.
The chat is curious. So Eric is drinking Eagle Rare bourbon, which is a Kentucky bourbon. It's made by the same people who make Buffalo Trace. It's just one of their higher shelf bourbons. It's real good.
I noticed Lithaka is in the chat, and I was like, oh wow! And then I was like, wait, Lithaka in the game is named after this Lithaka. So welcome back.
Don't worry, Leithaka, you have not died in the game yet. I mean, ever.
Yeah.
So, Rhiannon, when we meet the archaeologists, are we just going to have like a 10-minute rant from the first archaeologist NPC on how it's not paleontology, it's not anthropology, it's not it's not Indiana Jones?
No. See,
It's-
the branch get chopped up, so you get a little one, so you don't get bored, and
Uh-huh.
then you get another little one later.
Okay.
Like exposition.
I'm
Lithaka
like stupidly
does not
excited for your
know
one shot.
who
Yeah.
they are in the game.
Leithaka, have you not been here for a while?
Well, we've only had
It's okay. Her
That's right.
character hasn't shown up all that often, really. I mean, just a
that's
couple
true.
times.
You're an adorable urchin.
Yeah, you're like mini Cecilia. Like, if Cecilia had a daughter, it would be Leithaka.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
I said if.
Yeah.
Minus the wolfness.
Business sense, and street smarts.
Yeah.
And
She's a
sass.
hustler. She's a hustler who Cecilia has taken under her wing.
Yeah. I think Stong invested a bunch of gold in her in exchange for like some blankets.
Yeah, she still has
Yes.
the blankets. Some
Yeah,
stuff
she-
happened in there, and you didn't exactly care about the blankets for a little bit.
But she did get them,
Back
I
and get
remember.
them. Yeah.
She
Yeah, she
did.
oversold
Yeah.
those blankets.
Mhm.
Like, she made a tidy profit on the blankets.
There are 200 Was it 200 blankets or 200 gold worth of blankets?
I think it was
200
200 gold for like 2 silver worth of blankets.
Oh,
Well, there's a lot of blankets waiting for you at Salt Center Provisions.
I need the.
I mean, it's
the
kind of
full 5
appropriate
minutes,
that
so
Stong like
see you in a few minutes.
provided a
So
bunch of blankets, considering he pretty much like caused half of the city to be burned down. So there's probably lots of people who could use like blankets and stuff right about now. So I think it's only appropriate, Stong, that you financed
Assuming
a
they
blanket
got
to-
handed out and she's
Yeah.
not sitting on them. Or being
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, 1 silver a blanket.
That's right. Lathaka's like, I see a need.
It's discounted from Stong.
She'll probably think that Stong engineered the entire thing to like make a profit on the blankets.
I feel like she would definitely take good advantage of it. She's very like street smart, you know, and savvy and not sentimental is what I got. So we are actually now hitting about time where we need to start the recap. So we'll be back at 6:30.
No typos this time.
No typos. 4
Hopefully.
minutes.
No, I checked and Yang Yang checked.
You should
All
put
right.
one in
You find it.
everything, and like the person who finds the
It's
typo
right.
first, like,
I like that.
Kind of
And then they
fun.
can put exclamation mark typo and there'll be a typo counter that runs. Okay, anyways, goodbye.
Right.